All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something that's absolutely crucial for any business in 2024, your website. And we're going to go beyond the usual, every business needs a website spiel. We're really going to dig deep into the why. We've got some research here that really dives deep into that. So get ready for some surprising stats and insights that might just make you rethink your entire online approach.
Yeah. It's interesting. We kind of throw around terms like online presence,
Yeah.
but these articles really break it down, how a website really impacts a customer's journey, like from that very first impression to actually clicking that buy button.
Exactly. One of the articles talks about this thing called the zero moment of truth. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Basically, it means that before people even consider buying something, they're doing all this research online.
hmm
And guess what? Plays a huge role in that research.
Probably their experience on your website.
Yeah, that's where they're forming those first impressions.
Yeah, and it happens really fast. In fact, one study found that 75% of consumers judge a company's credibility solely on its website design.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not just about having a website, it's about having a good website.
Yeah.
So what does a good website even look like in 2024? I mean, what are the design elements that actually make it seem credible?
That's the key question, right? It goes way beyond just aesthetics. You've got to think about clear navigation, mobile responsiveness, fast loading times, all those things that make for a really smooth user experience.
Yeah, you want people to feel like you've invested in their experience.
Exactly. You build trust that way. And the thing is, people are making these judgments so quickly. We're talking milliseconds, like
Oh, yeah.
50 milliseconds.
50 milliseconds. That's less time than it takes me to decide what I'm going to have for breakfast. So first impressions matter, and they happen fast. What else should a website nail in those first few seconds?
Well, one article highlights how 86% of visitors to a website, they want to see information about your products or services immediately.
That makes sense.
So that means like clear, concise messaging, an intuitive layout that really gets them to that information fast.
So no hiding the good stuff. It's like when you walk into a store.
Yeah.
You want to see what they're offering right away. You don't have to hunt for it.
Right, exactly. And you need clear signage too. So think about your calls to action. Are they prominent? Are they easy to find? Do they clearly tell the visitor what you want them to do? You'd be surprised how many businesses miss this step. One stat even said 70% of small business websites lacked a clear call to action on their homepage.
Wow. That's a lot of missed opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, one thing that really stood out to me in these articles was the idea of a website being a 204/7 sales machine.
Absolutely. It's like having a salesperson who never sleeps, working all the time to generate leads and drive those conversions.
Around the clock.
And it's not just limited to your local market either. Your website has the potential to reach customers anywhere in the world.
Global reach.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've got 247 global reach. We're making killer first impressions. We're guiding visitors with these clear calls to action. What else is there?
Data. Your website is a goldmine of information about your customers.
Oh, yeah, data.
We're not just talking about basic demographics. We're talking about deep insights into their behavior, preferences, their needs.
It really is a secret weapon. But how do we actually use this data to improve our websites and ultimately improve our business?
Well, think about tools like Google Analytics. They track things like what pages people visit, how long they stay on those pages, what they click on. This all helps you understand what's working on your site and what's not, and then how to optimize for better engagement and conversions.
So we can actually use data to test different approaches
Mm-hmm.
and see what resonates best with our audience.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the power of website data. But
That's
even
right.
with all this data and the perfect design, there's one piece of the puzzle that so many websites overlook.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What's the missing piece?
The About Us page.
Oh, really? But one of the stats we have here says that over 50% of visitors, they actively look for the About Us page.
I know, it's surprising, right?
Why do you think it's so often neglected?
Well, maybe because it seems so straightforward. But it's actually your chance to go beyond just listing facts and figures about your company. This is where you really connect with visitors on a human level.
Right. You get to tell your story.
You tell your story.
So people want to know, like, who's behind the brand? What do they stand for?
Yeah,
What makes them tick? It's all about building that trust and transparency.
absolutely. It's an opportunity to share your company's values, its
Yeah.
mission, and even like a little bit of the journey that led you to where you are today.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get a little personal. Let your personality shine through.
So it's less about bragging about achievements.
Yeah.
and more about showcasing that human side of the business.
Exactly. Authenticity is key.
Yeah.
Think about it. You know, when you meet someone new, you're more likely to connect with them if they seem genuine and open. It's the same with your website. Share your passion for what you do. Let people get to know the real you.
And I bet visuals can play a big role here, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like photos of the team,
Yeah.
behind-the-scenes glimpses into the company culture.
Yeah, all of that. Visuals are so powerful. They really help bring your story to life and make it more engaging for the visitor.
Yeah, instead of just reading a wall of text.
Yeah.
They can actually see faces,
Mhm.
connect with real people, get a feel for the personality of the brand.
Exactly.
It's like inviting them into your world, giving them a peek behind the curtain. Speaking of pulling back the curtain, let's talk about something else that really fascinates me. The power of data. One of these articles called it a secret weapon for businesses.
And it really is. You know, we touched on it a bit earlier, but it's worth emphasizing just how much valuable information your website can reveal about your customers.
It's true.
Think about it. Every click, every page view, every interaction is a data point. That tells you something about what your audience wants and needs.
Yeah, it's like having a direct line to their thoughts. But I think a lot of people might feel overwhelmed by this whole idea of website data. Like, where do you even begin? How do you make sense of all this information?
Well, it can definitely feel daunting at first, but there are tools and resources out there to help you make sense of it all. Like we mentioned earlier, Google Analytics is a great place to start.
Yeah?
It provides a wealth of information about your website traffic, from demographics to user behavior.
So we can actually see things like where our visitors are coming from, what pages they're visiting, how long they're staying on each page.
Exactly, and that's just scratching the surface. You can also track conversions, meaning you can see how many people are signing up for your newsletter, downloading your ebook, or even making a purchase. This data can be so valuable for measuring the effectiveness of your website
Yeah.
and identifying areas for improvement.
But wouldn't it be even more powerful if you could use this data to actually personalize the website experience for each visitor?
You're totally on the right track. Personalization is a huge trend in website design, and for good reason. By using data to understand your visitors' preferences and behaviors, you can actually tailor their experience to make it more relevant and more engaging.
Okay, but how does that actually work in practice? Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you run an online clothing store. You notice that a particular visitor has been browsing your women's athletic wear section.
Okay.
Using that data, you could personalize their experience by showing them targeted recommendations for other athletic wear, maybe even offering them a discount code for their next purchase.
Oh, so it's about using the data
Yeah.
to anticipate what visitors might be interested in,
Yeah.
and then presenting them with relevant content and offers.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And it can be incredibly effective at driving conversions and building customer loyalty. I mean, who doesn't like feeling like a website understands their needs?
Yeah, it's like having a personal shopper. But it's all powered by data, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from first impressions and calls to action to the power of data and personalization. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier: website credibility. What are some of the key design elements that can really make or break a website's credibility in the eyes of visitors?
It really comes down to trust signals. Like,
Yep.
what would you look for if you were evaluating a business online?
Let's see. I guess I would want to see things like professional design, clear contact info, maybe some testimonials from happy customers. Things that show me it's a legit business.
Exactly. Those are all important trust signals. A well-designed website with high-quality images and clear and concise content that shows professionalism and credibility right away. Easy-to-find contact information shows transparency. And a willingness to engage with customers. And testimonials or reviews. That's social proof. It shows that other people have had positive experiences.
With your business,
Sounds like you're building a reputation online.
you need those trust signals to show visitors that you're the real deal.
And don't forget about security signals as well. Things like an SSL certificate. You know that little padlock icon in the address bar?
Right.
That shows visitors that their information is safe and secure.
Especially these days.
Yeah, data privacy is so important. People want to know that their information is being handled responsibly.
It's like you're putting out the welcome mat, but you've also got a top-notch security system.
Yeah.
You want people to feel comfortable, confident, doing business with you online.
Exactly. All of these elements, they work together to create this cohesive and credible online presence. It's not just about one or two things, it's the overall impression.
The whole package.
Yeah.
So it's about building a website that not only looks good, but functions well, and also inspires trust and confidence in visitors.
Exactly. And that trust, that's what drives conversions
Yeah.
and builds lasting customer relationships.
That's a really important point. It's not just about getting people to click buy once. It's about creating an experience that makes them want to keep coming back.
I agree. And remember, building a successful website is an ongoing journey. It's not a one-time project. As your business evolves, your website needs to evolve with it.
So true.
Stay curious, keep learning, never stop experimenting.
Great advice. It's exciting. There's always something new to learn, new ways to improve. So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway that you want listeners to remember from this deep dive?
A website is an investment. It's an investment in your brand, your customer relationships, your future success. And in today's digital world, it's an investment that's essential for any business that wants to thrive.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, go forth and build amazing websites. And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of business websites. Until next time.